Hi guys, it's Molten here and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at a game from the Gibraltar Masters earlier this year, played between two strong grandmasters, Bhaskaran Ardiban of white and Yu Yangyi of black. Yu Yangyi played a very interesting alternative to my previous video on the 4-knight Spanish, which caught his opponent off guard and secured a very nice win with the black pieces. If you haven't already seen my video on the 4-knight Spanish, you can check it out in the link below. As always, if you enjoy the video guys, smash that like button and subscribe if you want to see more weekly chess videos. And I hope you guys enjoy. The game goes e4, e5, and black heads for a Petrov defense, an opening which Yu Yangyi has found a lot of success with against e4. Here, instead of testing Yu Yangyi's knowledge, Ardiban decides to deviate with move knight c3 instead, and we get a 4 knights Spanish position, which we have looked at before in a previous video. Here Yu Yangyi goes for the more sharp line, knight d4, bishop c4, bishop c5, knight takes e5, queen e7. Following our previous video on the 4 knight Spanish, white continues knight to f3, and here black plays the move d5 to challenge the center. White takes it, and bishop g4, followed by d3 from white. So far everything here we've seen before in one of my previous videos I've done. In that video I suggested the move castles in this position for black, and this heads towards some interesting lines, including some long force drawn positions. So instead, in this position, Yu Yangyi plays another move which I haven't yet discussed or mentioned, and that was the move knight to d7. Another very interesting alternative. And here, after knight d7, it seems like white has three main replies. So we'll look at them one by one. The first option white can go for here is the move bishop takes b7. After this, black can play the move knight to e5, further attacking the point on f3. After which, white should really give up the queen here, since if he doesn't, black can simply take the knight on f3, and most likely the attack will be too strong and white will have to give up the queen anyways. So after knight takes d4, a game continued, bishop takes queen. White played the move knight c6. Here if we take the knight on c6, white can answer with bishop takes check and then take our bishop on d1. Therefore, we play the move queen f6, attacking the knight and also attacking the f2 pawn. Here the best move for white is to play knight takes d1. Black played knight takes c6. And in the one game here, white played bishop takes rook. Black played knight b4. And in the game, white went on to win, and materially he's okay, but I think black should be absolutely fine in this position, since we're going to win the pawn on c2 by force, and after which I think the position is somewhat easier to play as black than it is to play as white. And the pieces are all very active and working quite well together. Here another move white players might consider is the move bishop to e3, since it's also the main move after black castles instead of playing knight d7. In this position, black has a very strong move, and that's the move knight to e5, putting immediate pressure on the knight f3. If white allows us to take the knight f3 with check, then black has a winning position, since we're most likely going to win the queen with a discovered check. Therefore, white has a few options here. If he tries bishop takes d4, then we can simply take it back. And here black has way too many threats. The threat of queen f6, as well as c6 kicking the bishop, as well as queen to b4, make it a near impossible task for white to defend here. If instead he goes knight takes d4 and tries to sacrifice the queen, we can simply take it. In the game, instead, Ardiban realized that white's already 2 pawns up in this position, and he can afford to sacrifice the bishop to try and dislodge the pressure from the f3 square. So he plays bishop takes f7, forcing black to go knight takes f7, since queen takes f7 can be met with knight takes e5. Here there's some pressure taken off the f3 square temporarily. White continued knight to d5. Black simply sidestepped with queen d7. White played c3. Black went for the double pawns and exchanged some more pieces and played bishop h5. The resultant position is clearly much better for black, since the 3 extra pawns for white are unable to move and the pawn on f3 is most likely going to drop very soon. White played the move knight to g4. Castles, d4. Here Yu Yongyi played the move knight g5, attacking the pawn on f3 and the pawn on e4, threatening to win some material back. Here, unable to defend against the threats, Alibhan played h4, but this allows knight takes f3. And here he can simply take the knight back on g4, but instead played rook f8, queen e3, and decided to take back with the queen on g4 with a winning position, since now white doesn't have the material for it, and also his king is unable to castle. The rest is a matter of technique, so I will go over it very quickly. Here black simply takes the pawn on a2, attacking on the queen side, and reroutes the bishop to e8, threatening to bring the bishop into a4. Bishop a4 check, and here with queen, rook and bishop, white's unable to defend his king and resigned after king c1, queen a1 check. So you're probably wondering, if this is so good for black, then why doesn't everyone play knight d7 instead of castling queenside? Well, the problem I found lies in the move h3 here. After h3, black is forced to take the knight on f3, since retreating will allow white to unpin. And after the capture on f3, black can play the move c6 here, attacking the bishop on d5, which looks all good. If white moves back, then black can play knight e5, attacking f3, which can't be defended, and getting winning attack on the king side. However, here white has a very strong move, and that's the move f4, which was played in a correspondence game. After f4, the game continued c takes d5, knight takes d5, queen d8. In this position, white sacrifices the bishop on d5 in exchange for 3 pawns. The 3 pawns are quite strong though, since white can start pushing them in the center. c3, knight b5, d4. The black pieces have limited squares available and they're forced backwards. Castles, castles, e5. The game continued knight c7. White took the bishop. Since the bishop is a valuable defensive piece, white decides to go for this one instead and leaves the knights in a somewhat awkward position. f5, threatening possibilities of f6 and also opening up the bishop on c1. Queen f3. Already we see that white has some advantage in this position, since the black knights don't have any good squares to go to, and the white pawns are very strong. Also, the open g file gives possibilities for an attack. Black plays the move g6, which is a little bit weakening, but he needs to challenge the pawn on f5. White responds by playing c4, taking away more key squares from the black knights. White goes for the pawn on b7. Black takes with the pawn, since queen takes is not possible to queen takes c7. So we get a very interesting position here. The problem is the knights are still somewhat trapped, and having the extra piece here isn't really felt, since black can never improve the knights to a useful position. So black's trying to put the knight on e4 now, but he still has the problem with the knight on b6 to solve. And eventually white crashes through on the king side, while black is trying to untangle. And here black resigned. So overall, a very nice game from white. This is the main problem with this line for black. However, it can work quite well to catch your opponents unprepared, and even if they play h3 and f4, the position still has enough unbalance and chances for both sides to go wrong. Besides, we aren't playing against computers or correspondence chess, so it most likely should be fine. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up guys, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.